Hi, this is Karan here, and in this lesson we'll be talking about three more parts of speech, which are adjectives, adverbs, and articles. Now these three types of parts of speech have more in common than just the letter A. All three of them are modifiers. In grammar, the modifier is used in a special way. Now, if you say to modify something is to change something. So all the three of them modifies other words by giving little bit information about them. So let's get started with adjectives. So an adjective, if you see, an adjective modifies a noun or a pronoun. Now a noun is a place, person, a thing, or an idea, and a pronoun is something which you can be replaced instead of a noun. For example, he, she, they, and so on and so forth. When it is used in a sentence, when adjective is used in a sentence, it gives a little bit information about them. Basically, it gives an information about the sentence that the adjective is used in. So let's go ahead and take a few examples to understand what an adjective is. For example, an adjective could be large, unusual, green, impossible. Now the words that I have listed over here are just a few examples of what adjectives, words of an adjective. So let's go ahead and construct a sentence out of them and conclude which of them are adjectives. Now each of this, when used in a sentence, would give you more information about a noun or a pronoun. Now you can say, for making a sentence of large, you can basically construct a sentence which says a large boat. Then over here you can say that unusual clue. For green you can say the green tree. For impossible, you can say an impossible task. You can say jump, impossible jump. Now let's go ahead and see what in this sentence from these words, what are the adjectives? Well, if you just say a boat, you pretty much in your mind have a clear idea of the normal boat. But when you add the adjective, which gives you a little more information about the noun or a pronoun that you're talking about in this sentence, it gives you more information about that sentence. So here, if you just use a boat, you would imagine a normal sized boat. But if you add this word or the adjective which modifies the sentence, it would give you an idea of pretty large boat. And that is what the sentence is telling us. Now, if you look at that clue, it would just make you imagine a particular type of clue that you're finding in your investigation. Now, if you add the adjective, which modifies the whole sentence, that unusual clue. So, it would give you an idea or give you more information about that sentence. Now if you have a word green, you can construct a sentence by saying the tree. Well, you would imagine a tree which is the normal size, but you can imagine a tree with purple tree or green tree or yellow tree, tree without leaves, okay, and so on and so forth. But if you add the word green, you can say that the tree over here is green because the sentence tells you the information about that tree. Now, if you have the word impossible, you can say an impossible jump. Now, if you just say a jump, you can pretty much have an idea of some things that you're jumping over. But if you add an adjective to it, in this sentence, it gives you more information about that sentence. So, if you add the word impossible, you know it's not possible to jump from whatever the sentence is telling us. So, an impossible jump would basically say the jump which is not possible. Now, the adjective can come after a verb of being. Okay? Now, for example, if you have an impossible jump, you can say this jump is impossible. Okay? So what we just did over here is, let me go ahead and write it here. The adjective can come after a verb of being. Now, for example of that, you would basically have, instead of saying an impossible jump, you can add something which basically says, let me just write it here for this sentence. So over here, this jump is impossible. Okay, both of them are correct. Both of them uses the modifiers. Both of them gives the same clue as the one does. But there's some changes. The changes in both of the sentence, in both of them, would be there. Here, it's using the verb of being before an act, which is jump. Here, it's using the verb of being after the act, okay? So the adjective can also come after the verb of being, okay? So, now here, the main idea that we are focusing on is, let me go ahead and erase it. If you're talking about this sentence, what are the noun in this sentence? What is the noun in this sentence? Well, the noun, the jump, is the noun, which is also a subject of verb of being. Subject of verb of being, which is the verb of being, which is the verb of being. Now, impossible here is a modifier, which is the adjective. Okay? Now, it happens to be a case when sometimes a noun or a pronoun can be used as an adjective, such as I like to watch basketball. So for example, I like to watch basketball. Basketball is a noun. Over here, this is the noun. Now, you can also say Salik likes, or you can say Salik is a great basketball player. Now here, there's something going on more than the first sentence. The thing that is going on is what we're being discussing right now. So, here, the player is a noun. Okay? Noun. Basketball is an adjective. And here, we don't just have one adjective, because if you say Salik is a basketball player, well, it would just give you an idea of how that person, which is a Salik, is a basketball player and nothing big. But if you add the word great in the middle of this sentence, you would give an idea of he's a great player. He's the best player in his team. That is the reason why they call him Salik is a great basketball player. So great as well is an adjective. It also modifies the sentence. And basketball is also an adjective, because if you just said Salik is a player, it would give you a whole bunch of ideas of what that person is basically doing. He could be a football player, he could be a cricket player, he could be lots of players, okay? There's lots of fields in which he could be a player, good person in. Now, if you add the word basketball here, it would give you a whole bunch of idea, which basically changes your opinion of what it gives you. One conclusion is that the Salik is major in basketball. So, he is a great basketball player. Okay? So, great over here and basketball are two adjectives that are used in this sentence. Now, if you can also use, like we said, a pronoun instead of using a noun. Now here, Salik is a noun, okay? Now, you can also use a pronoun instead of noun. So let's go ahead and take a sentence which of what I'm talking about. So, if you were to say, which is your favorite sport? Now over here, in this sentence, it's a whole complete idea. So that is the reason it's concluded as interrogative sentence. Now, there's something going on. Now, which over here is a pronoun. And notice we don't have a noun here. Now, you can also use another sentence which are constructed exactly like this. For example, you can say, which sport you enjoy the most. Now, here, which would be an adjective because it changes the whole idea, whole perspective of yourself. Now, the noun would be the sport. Okay? Here, the sport is the noun. But if you also were to say, which sport do you enjoy the most? Then there would be a whole vast ideas. Now, one particular type of adjective is enough to consider as part of speech. Now, this is where the articles takes place. So what is an article? Well, an article introduces a noun. So let's go ahead and write that down. An article introduces a noun. So what is an article? Well, an article introduces a noun. For example, a and the. Now, the over here would be considered a definite article. Because when it's used, it states that the noun it follows is one specific noun as opposed to any example from the category. Now, a and an over here, instead of their definite noun, they would be indefinite noun. indefinite article. Now, you can also construct a sentence which looks like I would like an apple for the breakfast. Okay, so over here, the N introduces the apple. So N would be considered an article. And you can construct your own sentence out of this using the whole different five different types of sentences. You can construct an article, an adjective, and an adverb. So I hope you guys learned something from this section and hope you have mastered this section. You can also make your own examples just like this, and see you in my next video. Thank you for watching.